Number 1. So, real quick, before I was born, my mom was told by a psychic that she would soon become pregnant with a boy. Shortly after this, my grandfather Henry died. Then I was born with his exact birthmarks. It's just genetics, I figured. When I was young, I saw an old woman in my basement at the base of the stairs. When I told my grandma, who was alive, she was surprisingly understanding. But what scared us was that I was able to pick the dead woman out of the photo album. It was my dead grandma Thelma, married to my grandpa Henry, with whom I share the birthmarks. Henry loved this stupid blanket. It was given to me, and then one day, it vanished. My mom jokingly said Henry took it, so I out loud asked for it back. My mom freaked out, and then we both felt weird. Well, next day, the blanket was on my bed. I'm now 27 and I've moved out, but my parents to this day will hear music from nowhere, and if you stay in my house, you will hear someone walking up and down the stairs. My dad, who is older now, also it just admitted to me recently that he has spoken with a woman ghost sitting on the couch. But what scared me the most was when I tried talking to Thelma one night. I felt her presence, but then I felt like a great sadness wash over me, and I cried, like I'd lost a loved one, a wife even. But after that, I never experienced it again. Number 2. So, last night I had a series of odd happenings. I don't usually sleep until late, and tonight I stayed up until around 3 a.m. I was sleeping at my mom's house on the sofa downstairs. I was just casually watching Gogglebox. Now, as bad as this is, I smoke. I always use a blue jet lighter. This is an important detail. So, I finished my cig, and then put the blue lighter on the coffee table in front of me. Everything was going fine, and seemed normal. Until my blue lighter fell down next to me on the sofa. It was as if someone had lifted it above me and dropped it. I was a bit spooked from this, but I dismissed it as my imagination, because it was really late, and I was really sleepy. After this, I decided that I should get some sleep because, come on. A teleporting lighter? Really? As I'm lying down on the sofa, I have my back to the room, and I'm facing the wall. As I just start to drift off to sleep, I can feel eyes on me. I feel a bit freaked out, but I'm a very paranoid person, and I thought maybe it was just my paranoia acting up. I didn't turn around, but then a few minutes later, I still felt eyes on me. I feel someone brush my hair away from my ear, and then blow into my ear. I almost swallowed my stomach at this. I sat up as quickly as possible, and my eyes darted around the room, but there was no one there. Number 3. So, around 15 years ago, my mother has experienced a clinical death. Since then, all kinds of entities have been drawn towards her and tended to appear in the house. Most have lived of the simple energy of fear, but this never really bothered me due to I don't really have any fear. This is mostly because I've been able to feel their energetical presence my whole life, but I can't normally see them. Once me and my mother had to leave for a week, and then they began to scare my father in different ways, from dropping random stuff on the floor to making sounds and banging on the walls. He lasted all of a day and then moved into a motel. I myself only had a few direct encounters, but one night when they both had to leave for vacation, I woke up and felt a pressure on my back. When I opened my eyes, I saw that my shirt was being pulled forward. I moved up into a sitting position and it almost immediately let go. For years, this happened, but then a few years later, I bought a cat. This is because mostly entities dislike cats for several reasons. The cat was slightly cowardly and feared other people except for me. So, one day when I was sick, I heard the front door open. I knew it was locked. The cat did what it always does. It hid behind the curtain of invisibility. I immediately got up to check the door, but it was closed and locked, like I knew it had been. I also saw shadow people, figures, but for me it was a minor encounter. We had a particular entity which was mostly harmless, but it always stole forks. I bought 3 new sets of forks, and a few months later, after a new set, we only have 2 or 3 left. This is important. A year ago, I moved in with my girlfriend. When I came into her home for the first time, I immediately felt the bad entity, which had lived in the child's room closet. It was full of hate, anger. It was a parasite. What was interesting, though, is that on the second day of my presence, she woke up and told me that someone was choking her hard. I slept on my back, and then she sleeps on my chest. Later in the morning, we saw a few bruises on her neck. What was interesting, though, is that I could no longer feel the entity from her house. A few weeks go by, and then she complained that all her forks began to disappear. We frequently visit her mother, and not too long after, she started noticing that her forks, too, were disappearing. I believe that this entity has been following me around for a long time. Maybe so long, in fact, that I'm simply used to the presence, and I don't feel it. It honestly doesn't bother me much, and so far has proven to be a strong entity, but maybe it just has a fork obsession or something. I don't know. To me, it's a fair trade. Hey guys, Scare Doctor here. Thanks for watching my first true paranormal stories video. I know these stories weren't all that scary, but I didn't want to make them too scary for my first video. Also, just kind of testing out the paranormal scenes, seeing how you guys like them. Hopefully, you can tell that I got a new mic as the sound has gone up quite a bit. I am hoping to get some new recording equipment. That way the quality of it is going to get better as well. I'm hoping to do another paranormal video before the end of the week. And then after that, probably another creepy stories video. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe for more. And as always, stay aware of your surroundings.